Welcome to another episode of Kingsborough Focus. Today's guest, Professor Catherine Nareski, holds a BFA in fashion design from Parsons School of Design. After graduation, she honed her skills in wholesale textiles, working with renowned clients such as Ralph Lauren, Vera Wang, J. Crew, and more. She's provided design and technical illustration services to many brands, including the jewelry company Echo of a Dreamer. Ms. Nareski began teaching at Kingsborough Community College in 2010 and as an adjunct lecturer, and has since taught almost every course in the fashion design major and currently serves as the program's director. Outside of Kingsborough, she resides in Connecticut with her husband, Michael, her dog, Bo Pizza, and her cat, Rin, enjoying hobbies such as hiking, drawing, playing piano, reading, and gardening. In 2023, she earned her certification as a master gardener. Welcome, Catherine.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. How are you today?
I'm fantastic.
So recently you guys did a fashion show here at the school, right?
Yes, last Thursday.
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So we have a fashion show every semester, every big semester, so every spring and every fall. We have been doing it for about I'd say 12 years. We did take a hiatus during COVID, of course. But we started back up again in, I believe it was 2022, the later semester, we were able to start doing it again. And it's really sort of the capstone event of the semester as well as for our students. We have started with two courses, FD22, which is Fashion Design 2, and FD92, which is our Field Experience course, as our two sections for the show. One is they put in about 2 looks, and then for 92 they put in 3 looks as a sort of thesis collection to sort of round out their learning here at Kingsborough. And we've recently added a 3rd section, which is the 3R initiative section, which we started a couple actually last semester in our fall 2023 show, which has been spearheaded by Professor Michael Palladino, and it's meant to address sustainable fashion.
Right. So in total, that's what the 3 groups that presented and have.
Yes.
Because some of our class members, some of the group here were part of that, and we got to watch firsthand. I first got to watch it. It was great.
Yes, and you guys interviewed Masa as well, all the way in Iran. That was fantastic.
That was interesting. I was going to ask, because you brought it up, the year that you had to take off, or the 2 years you had to take, was there something supplemental to make up for that? Or?
Unfortunately, no. There was a lot of talk about doing a virtual show, right. But we were a little bit unsure how it would really coordinate. You know, would it just be a giant Zoom and then all the problems and time coordination? And at the end of the day, the students it wasn't the same thing. They weren't very excited about the prospect of doing a virtual show, so we just didn't do it, and we waited till we came back to start it up again.
We also had Michael Palladino as a previous guest on an episode, who I was fortunate enough to also interview, and you mentioned how he spearheaded the 3R, the 3rd group.
Yes.
So now that they got involved, is it like a symbiotic thing? Like, is some of the looks sold by the other 2 groups sold at the 3R collective as well? Like, is it like all cyclical?
Not
yet.
We do hope to expand the store to include more sort of courses and also more fashion students. Right now, the store is really business of fashion.
Right.
So we have 2 programs: a business of fashion and fashion design. But I would love in the future to see the store expand to include both programs.
Collaboration, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's all it comes down to. Yeah.
Precisely.
Which is like fascinating, because the whole, again, just taking business and design and fashion and design, putting it all together, and it's how the everyday garments get sold. I mean, you've worked in the industry already. I used to work for a couple of different companies, whether it be retail or behind the scenes doing marketing, so I understand how a simple product can go into all of a sudden it's now, for us on a daily basis, it's just cotton or polyester or this or that, but it means so many bigger things to so many different people, whether it be financial income, a job, fashion, sense of self. You know, so that's great. And we have some looks, I believe, that you were associated with, so we could put one of those up on the
Sure.
screen, and we could probably just talk about it a little bit. I'd love to
Absolutely.
know, yeah, so let's, this first look, can you talk to us a little bit about this?
Sure. So all of the looks, including this one, are from previous fashion shows, and it was really hard to narrow down any sort of looks because, you know,
Right.
after doing this for so long and so many fashion shows, I have literally thousands of photographs. But I picked a few that, you know, were just great looks and great photos. And this is definitely one of those. I think it's a great photo, and it was from a student named Ashley, and she did her thesis collection based on fringes. Her father was a tailor, so she actually had a little bit of a head start with technique. She had absolutely fantastic ability and attention to detail, and really came out with just such a fantastic collection.
And was the photographer also a student in that case?
Yes.
Because
Yes.
I remember we had a bunch of like photography course students also at the show. That's a very high level, like everything about the show just felt very high level, you know, very authentic, very like,
Well, you guys
like
as
community
well.
college. But in general, from the fashion all the way through the execution of having photographers at the end of the runway, and then the end product, because that's the best way it's going to get shown, right? Like a fashion,
Of course.
you need it to, it translates better when shot through a photographer's lens that sees fashion for what it
Yes.
is, right? You know, so.
And I love the collaboration with it. I mean, like, you know, we use a lot of the photography also, you know, in little brochure and in here as well, to show off the students' work, and we show them in the halls. But I love the collaboration that, you know, different programs can come and join, and, you know, people that like recording or taking photographs can take advantage of the event, and, you know, everybody gets a little something out of it.
And I think it's like definitely eye-opening. A lot of people are not expecting it to be as what it is. It's a full production. It's all there. It's got all the elements. I do think we have a second image as well of one of the other looks that you, like you said, you had a hard time picking them. So I was curious
I know.
what else we have here.
Also from the show, and this is, well, the one before as well was a Brooklyn native, but this was actually a Japanese native. And that's actually, I put in some of these images because it's one of my favorite things about the program is we get students from all over the world, and they bring their culture into the design. And everybody sort of learns a little bit of something about their culture. And this was a student that was fusing, you know, Japanese aesthetic with some more Western style of garment. So we really get that sort of beautiful sense from all over the world, all these different cultures, all these different dressing styles, different fabrics,
Right.
And stuff like that. And it really just makes it so rich. And so diverse, which is, you know, one of the reasons why I like, you know, specifically actually teaching here. It's really just mind-blowing everywhere. People, I mean, I've had students come from almost every corner of the globe and bring their style with them.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. You see that walking through the halls and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think just to create a little bit of that diversity, I want to see the third. I'm curious about the third picture that you bought, so that we could just wrap them all up together and like bookend the.
Yes, this was by a Bangladeshi student, and she wanted to create a collection that sort of fused a little bit of the look of the sari, again, with some more Western look, sort of, again, that right side peeking through. And again, all of them are, like I said, beautiful pictures, beautiful looks, and also good representations of, you know, students bringing their background and their culture into their designs.
I'm always fascinated when I see a really shocking design like this that has like really strong asymmetry.
Yeah.
Because my brain just doesn't allow there to be everything has to be symmetrical, right? Like usually I'll have something on the other wrist just because, you know, so I get it. But that's some of the designs, and you really did pick some great images because you had blue, red, you had, you know, earth tones, you had a little bit of like the brown and the black was, a lot of people have trouble putting those colors together. And it shows, right? It shows that the dedication and the effort that goes into these looks. And some of the ones that were at this previous show, I believe you also bought some footage, right? So is that from this current show?
Yes, the footage you have is the ones that you guys recorded from this previous, from the most current show.
So we can give that a watch and talk about that in a second.
Absolutely.
All right, so I'm actually gonna, before you start, I'm just fascinated. How much, besides, like I know a lot of the students, you guys brought it up, put on the production for the most part by themselves. Mm-hmm. The practicing of the walking, is that like all them? Is there like instruction? I'm fascinated.
Sure.
Everybody went off and did their own thing. There's a few people that really just like, when they had capes,
Yes,
you got the whole Batman thing, you know? It was really
well,
great.
you want to go for that drama, of course.
Exactly.
That's definitely built into it. I think there was one show that it always gets a big applause, right? When they take off the cape or something, the big reveal. So there's a rough dress rehearsal. So
cool.
a few hours before the show, so they're there for quite a few hours, getting ready, preparing, getting dressed, makeup, hair, everything.
Selfies.
Of course, very important. And at the very beginning, I take all the models and designers, and we do a sort of rough rehearsal. I say, okay, you're going to come in from this door, you're going to walk up, you're going to stop at these places, come back, exit. Very, very sort of simple instruction. But then, I tell them you're going to work with your designer because some of the designers model their own stuff, but most of the time, especially because they have multiple looks, they have their own volunteer models that come.
That's cool.
And they work with them on the runway, and that's part of the getting ready. We put the music on, we open up the runway. They work on their poses, they work on what they're going to do, they work on how they're going to walk, if they're going to smile, what their attitude is going to be, because every designer has their own individual vision, and we sort of standardize it. Okay, you're going to stop at these locations, but other than that, we want what the model does to reflect what the designer has in mind.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Okay, so it's most like a chain of command almost, but with also just guidelines, not rules.
Yeah, sort of something to keep a sort of a uniform standard, so it's not all over the place, but each individual designer, and again, if you watch they have their own very specific look and idea and feeling. So some are more serious, some are more playful, some are
100%. And then to go back to it, since you do give that freedom, I was curious because you said a lot of the designers would design and then wear their own looks.
Oh yeah.
Do you have the opposite side? Like, I don't want to be on the stage. I do this. I don't do this. I don't.
Of course.
This.
I mean, not all the designers do model their own looks. Most don't.
Right.
But a lot do. It's just their choice.
Right. Some people like to tell a story, not like do the rest of it.
I would be in the back. I don't want to be on the stage.
It's also, I guess, depending on how controlling you are and how much of I want to see what everyone else is seeing versus I want to be the person displaying the clothing. Mm-hmm. There's, mentality, I guess. But that's so cool. So are the models from within the school, variety, friends from outside the school?
All the above.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so they are in the program from school, friends from outside. We've had siblings. So whoever agrees to do it, we'll take them.
I feel like I noticed when it was over, there was just like this feeling of like all these people's like family members and friends did not expect it to be so the professional is not the word, because even though yes it was, they were also proud of it. Like you sensed the sense of pride in the air, it was like everyone was so happy for each other. Everyone was whipping out the cameras and like ready to take pictures together. It was really like a special event, and it's kind of cool that you guys keep doing this every year.
And that's exactly what we mean it to be. The students work hard. They're incredibly talented. They've come a long way, and we want their family and their friends and everyone to, have a special time to recognize what they have achieved.
And I'm curious, as a professor and someone who's been doing this for so long, at this point, do you have people who take the class, whether it be as an elective or they're already at Kingsborough, they have I like to create two types of students because I'm one of these two, there are a lot of people who had to go to school right after high school, right? Like they had no choice. And they didn't do well in standardized tests. They didn't want to go anywhere else. But their parents are like, you're leaving the house at 8 a.m. You're leaving the house at 9 a.m. And you're going to do something with your day. If you get a full-time job, great. But if you don't, you're going to school, right? And there's an X amount of students here that are like that. That's fine, which is fine. Everybody had to go to school, whether they chose to or sometimes your parents force you to. But then you have the other side of the spectrum, which is where more I come from and some of the students in this class and a lot of the people that I've connected with while being at Kingsborough is, well, it's my time to finally finish. I want to either increase my earning power, I want to finish for my family or my friends or myself, most importantly, or just in general, like it's just, this is the time I finished X amount of credits, why did I never do this, so on and so forth. And people come back to school for tons of reasons, and they might not know that there's like a program like this. Do you have anyone that ends up in your class? And it's just like whether it's an elective or that's part of their core curriculum. They were like, you know what, I'm going to community college. Let's just do something I'm interested in, but I don't necessarily. And then all of a sudden, like you see this this something go off, right? Like, like how, like, do you feel like this show provides like even like that's the final push for some of them? It's like this is what I want to do now. Because
I
of
think
this.
So.
Right?
I would hope so.
Sorry, that was a wordy way of putting that.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm incredibly lucky because no one really goes into fashion. Well, there maybe are a few, but the vast majority of students that I find that have gone in and say, I'm going to be majoring in fashion, it's because they love fashion. They really like it. They know they want to do it. They have come from, one of the award winners has already gotten a BA in finance and just decided I don't really want to be, a suit.
A Wall Street person.
This is what I want to do. And it's a lot of time against what their parents really want to have them laid out for them.
It is a more artistic endeavor.
It is indeed, and it's fairly niche. So if you're going to go to school just to go to school, you do something a bit more general. You don't pick something quite so niche. So I'm incredibly lucky that most all of my students. This is their dream, this is their passion, and it shows through in the hard work that they put in and just their excitement to be in the class, their excitement to design, to participate. It's never, we have to slog through this, and it's never something that someone told them to do. It's something that they genuinely want to do, and that really makes my job a lot easier. And it's certainly a lot more fun.
And then by putting on a production and teaching it from the educational standpoint, you also get to show that you don't all have to be the person with the needle or the book. You could actually, there's a bunch of jobs in the industry.
Absolutely. I mean,
foot door, you get your foot in the door kind of thing, yeah.
Absolutely. Like I did even myself say it's a bit niche, but it's if you look at it at a global scale, it's one of the largest industries worldwide. I mean, because it affects people everyone from on a farm to in retail stores to garment factories to designers. It's quite a huge industry with a lot of different areas.
Of course. You could take some brands and they could change the news in a day.
Yeah, precisely.
Just the brand alone. Yeah. That's all the time we have. Thank you for watching, and please join me in extending our heartfelt gratitude to Professor Nareski for sharing her incredible journey and expertise with us today. Her dedication to the field of fashion design and her commitment to education at Kingsborough Community College are truly inspiring. We are fortunate to have her as a leader, a mentor, and guiding the next generation of fashion designers. We wish her continued success in all of her endeavors, both professionally and personally. Thank you once again, Professor Nareski. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and thank you for being here with us today.